Hey y'all, SoulFox here. Welcome back to the Soulcast. Today we have a very, very special guest, a good friend of mine. Let me go ahead and introduce you to Gamertag. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, man. Doing well. I'm excited you're here today. I'm glad you're in the studio. I'm ready to talk about some games. But before we get into all that, I want to talk about who you are, what you do on your channel, why you're in VR, kind of stuff like that. So go ahead and start us off and tell us about who you are and what you do on your YouTube channel.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you ever so much for inviting me. I've had a look around the place. It is extremely impressive. I think it's an amazing stuff you got here, dude. And I love your channel. I love your content. Me personally, basically, I was very lucky back in 2016. I got to try PSVR in April, so it's before it was released in October, and it completely changed my life. Like, it was the only thing I could think about. I remember being on holiday that summer, and I just kept looking at YouTube, looking for anything, any sort of information. So anyway, it came out. Never really assumed that I would ever be a YouTuber or make content. Played it for about a year, and then around, I think it was November of 2017, I started coming up with some really funny glitches of a game called Don't Knock Twice.
Mm-hmm.
There's like this crazy lady in like a 90. She's sort of like running around, and you can put your head through the walls and stuff, and glitches in VR are very different to, or feel very different to games. And I just thought, oh man, I'm just going to press this share button on the DualShock controller and see what happens. So I did that. And then one day I was playing Doom VFR. Just got it. I was always buying the brand new games, dude. Like before I even started doing YouTube, I had around 70 to 80 games. I bought every single game. And I was playing Doom. And then like for the first time, people were actually joining the stream. Like they'd never done that before. And in PSVR, you get like a comment box, so you can just see what people are typing. Unlike obviously us in PC VR, we have to make our own window and stuff. In PSVR, it's all there, so easy. And people were like, how are you moving so fast? How are you doing? How are you moving to like normally? And what I didn't realize was IGN had reviewed the game, but they'd reviewed it incorrectly and said there was only snap turning and there was only teleportation. So that video, like for me then, like had over like 150 views or something,
Mm-hmm.
which is nothing really, but like in that time, you're like, wow, that
Right.
was amazing. And that's it, dude. Like I really enjoyed that helping people thing. And then it just, I don't know, it's addictive. The whole thing's addictive. Like YouTube's addictive, VR's addictive, being part of the community is addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Like doing this is amazing. I feel like it's an incredible thing to be part of. So yeah.
Yeah, well, right on, man. That's actually a really cool way. And like the way you mentioned, VR glitches are very, very different from like flat screen glitches. It's so hard to play a VR game without finding like something that you could break, some kind of glitch, because like it's I don't feel like developers can fully prepare for all the things we're capable of, because like there's just so much you can physically do. But I absolutely love that. And yeah, 150 views back in the day, like whenever you first start, that's massive. It's like, man, that's really cool. We're growing, something's happening here. So I'm glad you actually started out like that. That's really awesome. All right, so next up, I wanted to ask, man, do you remember how we actually met? I feel like it was back in one of the tournaments, man.
I was just going to say it was a tournament, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tournament because you're obviously massively competitive, and he. I don't know if the camera's on me at the moment, but he always beats me at every game we play. He pretty much. I think I might have beat you at grapple tournament.
I think you did. Grapple tournament, you were popping off. You were doing great.
Yeah, FPSs I'm cool with, but anything to do with like using your brain, I'm no good. Like.
Man, I love it, especially whenever all these these tournaments come around. That's not only just a few of us. It's like the whole VR community. You got Alex, you got Skiva.
Yeah,
it adds
man.
all these people in. I love it, and that's actually like one of the ways I feel like I've met a lot of the community. And they're so like close knit.
Yeah.
They're loving. They're awesome. So it was a great way to actually meet you out there on the battlefield.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like at the moment, that's what's so great. And even though like I've been doing this 3 years, how long have you been doing this for?
Right around 3 years.
Yeah. So 3 years does feel like a long time. It is quite a long time, but I still think we're just at the beginning of getting started. I really do.
Yeah. No, I completely agree
man.
with you, man. It's the community. Even though we have like you could list like this huge list of people, it's it still seems so small in comparison. Like it's one day VR is going to hit the masses, and they're actually going to understand it's not just people walking around with goggles on their face. Like they're actually going to play it, experience it, and see why in the world we're like fanatics about it. So give it time, and it'll get there. It'll get there. So, I wanted to talk about Quest 2. Like you were hands down the person I always look to, the person I always question things about whenever it comes to recording Quest 2. I am like nearly a strictly PC VR guy, but like you do everything. You stream from it, which I am hands down impressed. My internet could never. But like you stream from it, you record from it. Like what is your setup for the Quest 2 like? I know a lot of people have their Franken Quest where they modify it and all this stuff. Like what does yours actually have on it?
So I'm quite lucky. I'm probably like you, affiliated with VR Cover, which are fantastic products. So I'm currently testing out the gel, the cool gel thing, which, to be fair, I haven't actually done a full review on it yet because I'm still trying to figure out. It changes. Some days it can be really quite, you can feel it, you can feel the coolness, and then some days you can't. So I'm a bit like, I need to work that out because it's going to be very hard to review because it'll be like, I don't know what to say. It does work and it doesn't work, which doesn't help anyone. But apart from that, most of the questions I get, I've got the Elite strap, I've got the rear pad cover, probably the same as you. The only thing people ask me about is my Bluetooth transmitter. So when it comes to streaming Quest, I use Scrappy, which is part of SideQuest. And unfortunately, this is a wired thing. Yeah, so I use the Oculus Link. Going to Scrappy, I've got my own resolution settings and stuff that I use. I capture that, and the reason I capture that, I was quite happy with. I wasn't happy with it, but I was basically doing Chromecast, and then I played Until You Fall. Now that game is super fast, like lightning quick, and the frame drops I was getting and screen tear. For me personally, it was unwatchable. I was like, this is not good, and I don't want people to watch this because it's not a fair representation of VR. So, and Quest, to be fair, I mean, some of the games, like when you're in virtuality, things can, like this is very basic, but it feels great because we're in VR. So so with Scrappy, you get a really high refresh rate. You don't get screen tear, but you get kind of like a fisheye thing, which some people kind of like because it looks like a wider FOV, but some people don't like it. But that's what I've gone with. And then, but the thing is, you can't capture audio, so then I use a Bluetooth transmitter to my Elgato HD60S, and then and obviously then you got all the other stuff, which is normal streaming stuff, cameras, green screens, blah blah blah.
Right.
So yeah,
man, it's I feel so basic. Mine's just literally the Quest, and then I toss on a mic and I try to work with that. But like yours, every time I watch your videos,
that makes sense though.
No, it does. But like yours looks so good. Like the resolution always looks amazing. I've yet to figure out how in the world to actually get that like 1080p resolution that looks nice. Like there's no tearing. It doesn't look bad. The FPS is actually good. Like it looks so good, man.
Yeah. I think what looks best is when you do full rate capture. Have you done that yet?
I think I've tried. Have I tried? I don't know if I have.
Yeah, so if you go on SideQuest, there's some pre-written ADB commands, and all you do is just flick turn on. That's it. So the thing with full capture is it looks fantastic. It's still in that square format, but it's a full 60 frames, and it's of a really good resolution. The only thing is the Quest 2 actually can't handle it very well. So what happened is the video will come out pretty good, but your experience in that headset can be awful. Like, oh, dude, I was playing Forever Bowl with BMF, man, and I was turning, and it was like the world was being painted sometimes, like in front of me. I was like, what is going on, dude? But yeah, like Quest 2 content is very hard. Some people do the method I'm talking about, but then also with live streaming, I want to interact with my live chat. So then you can't see your live chat, so I have it speaking to me, but at the same time, I have a compressor which stops the live stream here in the chat, so only I can hear it, and internally now I have to loop the sound back to myself as well. Just a huge setup, and it doesn't feel huge to me now, but when people go, I want to do Quest content, how do I do it? Most of the time they quit after a while, because if one thing goes wrong or it doesn't work right, it can be so frustrating because it's just virtual, dude. I feel anyone who doesn't stream virtuality, dude, they've got it easy. they've got it so easy. It's unreal.
Yeah, man. No, it's I have a lot of respect for you for that. You know, streaming, recording, all of that, and actually making it work well. I've tried multiple times. I can make it come out decent to the point where I can do videos on it. But if I have the opportunity to do anything on PC VR over like standalone VR, that's where I go to because I know it's much simpler for me. It's easier. But yeah, you make it work well, like really well.
Talk to me about the Index, because I mean, I used it. I was quite lucky. I got to play after the fall at Gamescom on an Index, and I loved it. I completely, but it was just very expensive at the time. I've got a family, got kids and stuff, and it's very hard to justify the money, sometimes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, the Quest 2 does everything. So,
it really does. Like whenever you look at it, you can plug it right into the computer if you need to. Like it's actually a really good device. And like people ask me like SoulFox, what should I get for VR? I'm getting into it. What headset should I get? And like 9 times out of 10, I do not recommend the Index. I tell them Quest 2 because it's where you jump in at. Index, the only way I could actually justify it was I saved up all of the money I made from YouTube, like from my start on this channel, to the point where I could actually afford it because my Oculus Rift was like it had its last leg. It was not doing well. The ribbon cable in the back had completely died. We were like trying to wire things together and like it was so jerry rigged. It was not good.
I loved that headset so much. I loved that.
It was amazing, man.
Oh,
it was so comfortable. I love the controllers, but I got to the point where I said, I'm going to get a new headset, and it was my choice was between the Index or the Vive Cosmos, and this is whenever Cosmos were just announced. There was like not enough information, and I was so close to going with. I'm like, man, those controllers look so cool, and like I should give Vive a try. Now I got mad respect for Vive, but I'm very glad I did not go with the Cosmos over the Index, and I've enjoyed it, man. The thing is, the controllers are a little bit odd, but like besides that, the headset itself is everything looks good. And that's what I enjoy, and the mic quality it surprised me.
I think it's a great looking headset as well. Like I know that sounds a bit crazy, but like looking at the new Vive Focus 3, for example, it's a sexy, good looking bit of kit. You know what I mean? It's not just functional, it looks great. And I think that about the Index, I think it looks really good. It's funny you mentioned the controllers. Me too. I used them. So at Gamescom, I had the original Rift, but when I came back, I bought Rift S because they're like, the difference between the original CV1 and the Rift S was massive, and just the touch controllers for me are like the PlayStation DualShock or like the Xbox controller of gaming. It's so everything about it is perfect.
It's definitely different. I that is one thing. If I could have it, I would have like the CV1 controllers, the touch controllers with my Index. That would be my setup if I had that opportunity. But for the time being, it works. It's all right. It's still good, but yeah.
You never know, man. You never know. Like that Index 2's coming. Yeah. Like that is. I'm so excited to get a PC VR headset, and because don't get me, I love the Quest 2. I love there's no screen door and stuff, but there's something so. I think I don't know something more special about just a pure PC VR headset. I don't know. I wish I would have kept my Rift S sometimes, but that screen door, like. You can't go back to screen door. Once it's gone, you can't go back to it.
No, 100%. So that is something that's coming in your future, you think? It's like you're going to switch from Quest 2 to actually a good PC VR like upgrade. That's what you're looking for.
I hope so, but I've been very lucky. So I've tried the Cosmos at an event. It was the most expensive average headset I've ever used, and the controllers were bad. And then I also was lucky enough to get a review unit of the HP G2. The display was mind-blowing. Like Half-Life Alyx in that was insane. But Windows Mixed Reality is awful as a program. And it is, if you've ever got like an issue running VR, and I think most people do have an issue running some things in VR because of optimization, you keep putting that resolution up, it's just going to cause more problems. It just needs more graphical power, more GPU. I don't know about you, but I have a dual monitor set up as well sometimes. So yeah, like I noticed it was hard to make games work on that. Plus the field of view seemed less than the Quest 2 because like you get slim covers from VR cover, and it increases the field of view for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the HP Reverb G2 ended up back in the box very quickly.
Man,
And yeah,
that
yeah,
that was
yeah,
one
it's a
headset
shame.
I never got to like actually experience. I heard a lot about it, and I was curious because people were kind of like hyping up whenever it first was coming out, and I was wondering if that was going to be like a contender for the Index. But it, I didn't hear much more about it. I feel like there were more people that used it for, like very graphically intensive games, like the flight simulators, stuff like that. Like they really enjoyed it, but just gaming wise, like people who constantly played day after day, I didn't hear much about it. So
Yeah, so at the moment in America, I think you can get a G2. They're on sale for $400,
wow, interesting.
which is crazy. And
Yeah.
yeah, if I was like into my, oh, for $400, that headset, 'cause you can use them with your knuckles.
Mhm.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the base stations. Then dude, I would probably seriously think about it because that display, man, that rocked me. Like Half-Life Alyx, unforgettable. Literally unforgettable.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm
Yeah,
glad
it's
you got
incredible.
to experience that. Get I guess in a sense, get your feet wet. Test out the different headsets and whatnot. So now, if one comes along that really interests you and you can invest in it, like you'll find one that actually works well. You've done your research. You understand what's good, what's not. So yeah, Index 2.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's coming for it, but I am excited about it. I would love to actually upgrade, try it out, and see what it actually can do.
Yeah, because the Index like holds its money as well, second hand. It's
100%.
not. Yeah, they're not cheap. So I've tried to obviously think to myself, oh, I'll get on second hand, but yeah, even people selling them obviously like looking on eBay and see they still go for, well, over here £900.
Yeah.
And they sell for 1,000, funny enough, but second hand they seem to sell them for 900. So I'm just like, dude, if I was going to buy one, I'd just buy one new. And
Yeah.
then at the same time, with all the rumors of Index 2, I might as well just sit on the fence because, as we said right at the beginning, Quest 2 literally does everything.
Yeah. I waited out, man. Wait it out, see what it has to offer, and then if you feel like it, go for it. Jump for it. Like it's
What about you? How did you get into VR? You got to tell me.
man, VR. So there was a point in time where like I stumbled upon VR, and I think the channel was Node. They do all the like gaming stuff and
Yeah,
all this
yeah.
like just super like nerdy,
Absolutely.
awesome channel. Like I love it. And I think they were playing what was it? Orbis. And I am like I'm a huge fan of World of Warcraft. I grew up with it. I thought it was awesome. Like there's an RPG and you can do it in VR. And I was like, I gotta try this. It looks so cool.
I've
And
not played Orbis.
man,
I've not played that.
it's interesting. I did not play it for long. I'll say that. But like, I thought it was really cool. And I was like, I gotta try it. And so I went out to I think it was Best Buy, and I picked one up. And I came home and I was playing all the different games. And I got into Orbis, and that game was so intensive on motion sickness because it was like everything was smooth. Everything was smooth locomotion. I used teleport, and I was like, it's fine. I just want to walk around. And I played that for a little bit, and I was like feeling a little bit sick from it. And I was like, oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And later on that night, I hopped back in, and I was playing, what was it? Echo Arena. And I was wearing like sweatpants, hoodie, long sleeve shirt because it was kind of like winter here. I'm like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And I did not realize how much that can affect you, like actually being hot while playing in VR. And so the next day, I did not get out of bed. I was just stuck. I was like, I can't. Everything is spinning. My head hurts. I can't do this. I need to return this.
Oh,
like,
wow.
it knocked me off my feet. And there's still games today that will like severely put me on the ground. I did a video recently, like while we were recording, I had to take the headset off, and I full on just like collapsed on the ground. Like there was something about it that just threw me off horribly. And
It's so funny though, because like BMF, when we was quite lucky. The first time I saw it, I now know he gets motion sick.
Mhm.
And he's actually a real people who get motion sick are really great for VR developers to get hold of. If it's not just motion, it could be a mechanic.
Mhm.
So for example, Larsenauts came out with the arms that weren't yours when you ran. Dude, that made him ill because it was a disconnect.
It feels really weird. I tested that game out too. That threw me for a loop. I was like, I don't feel right because my hands are out here. I can physically feel this, but like I'm seeing this. My brain's like trying to put two and two together. It's like, hey, something's not right about this, and it starts like essentially overworking itself to think how this is possible. I don't know why, but it'll mess you up, man, like severely.
Yeah. So it's quite like out of most of us, like I don't know why I'm very lucky. It's quite funny. If I span round in a circle in real world, I'd probably feel pretty quickly. But in virtuality, nothing gets me. I'm really lucky. But so when he gets ill from something, I'm like, there's something we need to talk about. I go to the developers, and I actually managed to get immersive mode put in the game, because when I spoke to the developer, he was like, we want to prevent run and gun. This game isn't about running and gunning. They do, and I said, well, dude, there's already a mechanic for that in most of our first-person shooters, and that is gun down, you can run, gun up, you walk. And he was like, dude, so like he put it in there. There's all of us playing with it, testing it. I did my review with immersive mode, and then everyone's writing to me going, dude, I can't find it. And I didn't understand, so I messaged him, and he said, oh, no, dude, yeah, we're just testing it. And I was like, mate, release that. Release it right now. And he did, yeah, like 5 hours. I think it was 5 or 6 hours later, he pushed the update, and everyone really enjoyed it. So, that was a close call, man, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to make sure you have the right stuff for everybody, because it's, I never really took that into consideration, like figuring out what makes me motion sick and contacting the devs. Whenever it just hits me, I'm like, all right, I'm done for the day. I'll be on the ground if y'all need me. Give me some ginger ale. Like, let me be for a while. I've had some bad experience, and the worst one, and I love them. Like, I love working with like companies that are like racing games, because they're really unique. It reminds me of Mario Kart, but like racing games are the hands down most sickening thing for me to play. I can play it under the right circumstances. I gotta have a fan on me. I've got to be like really cool. I gotta make sure I'm like, I got a full stomach. I'm good. But there's some that just, I don't know what it is about it, but it destroys me, man. I don't know.
That's interesting. So Z Race, the we're in.
Yeah.
What happened? Was that fine?
No, that was good. I was fine. I was sitting up. I was controlling it. Everything was good. And that was like fast motion too, like really fast motion.
That's really fast, yeah.
I have no idea what it is. It's usually just, if it's driving, that's what gets me, man. And like Rec Room just came out with an update for, oddly enough, we don't have it in here, but there's seats. Like you can full on just click on a chair and sit down now. And people are making their own go-karts, like their own cars. And people were telling me like during stream, like, man, you got to try this out. And I was like, if I touch that, I will die. I can't do it, man. I gotta stay away. Like, I know my limits. And everybody's loving it. Like, this is so fun. And they're jumping and spinning around and going like, Mach 2. And I'm like, I could never. I full on, like, my brain tells me I can't do that. Like, I don't know why, but I don't have that power to like sustain that, man.
I think probably the worst one I think of, which I've heard, is Wipeout. Now, a lot of people don't know Wipeout is in VR, but obviously it is on PSVR. Some people don't know that. And it's still today the best F-Zero style futuristic racing game in virtuality, but it's on PSVR, so most people know about it. But if you go into cockpit mode on that, my goodness, like that, because the speed of turning and flipping is, well, one of the ways, crazy really, one of the ways to get a speed boost is to do a 360 on purpose, is to actually barrel roll. See, I'm like, when I play it, I'm just barrel rolling as much as possible. And the amount of people in chat are like, dude, I'm not playing this. Like, and I don't blame them, because, yeah, it must be, for someone who gets motion sick, it must be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it's bad. But going back to how I got into VR, I nearly got out the day after I got it. Like, I full on was like looking at the returns. I'm like, how can I get this back? Because I can't handle this, man. It is too bad. Thankfully, I didn't. But like, there were a few days where I didn't want to hop back in VR. I was so scared like that was going to happen again. I was like, how in the world do I pass this? And I had to do research on how to actually survive with my new game. I'm like, somebody please help me. I just spent money on this. I can't use it. It hurts me. Like, what do I do?
It hurts, man.
Thankfully it all worked out, but like, man, it was a rough first couple weeks, man. I'll tell you that. So like now, anytime somebody gets into VR,
physically causing me pain.
Yeah. Anytime somebody gets into VR, I have a full list. I'm like, make sure you have a fan, make sure you got water. If you get sick, get something with ginger. I always use ginger ale, but like that's my list. I'm like, please take care of yourself, because if you are motion sick, VR is awful. Like it will mess you up. But I mean, you can prevent it.
Man.
You can prevent
it. You're the person I'm gonna send. I don't know about ginger ale. It's quite rare in the UK. Like I know there's a couple of cans, but it's not something I've ever really drank. So yeah. Ginger ale. God,
dude, anything with ginger will help. That's just like, that's been a classic in my family, and I found that out, and I'm like, oh, this works out perfectly. So It's all good now.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, so you did that. So you could have returned it. That's interesting because like anyone who puts someone in VR has got a responsibility to make sure that their first experience isn't a roller coaster, or, because that's what they want to do. People will be outside going, "Can I play this?"
Yeah.
And like, yeah, go on a roller coaster, dude. I made this guy literally go white, like white as a sheet. He was sitting there all quiet, and he was like, it was on the PlayStation. He's just sitting there, like not moving, and I was like, "Are you enjoying it?" And he was like, "I think so." All of a sudden, dude, he must have had like a cold sweat, and he took off, and he went, "I can't do it." He went, "I can't do it. I can't." And unfortunately, he's never been back again. So that, like, for you, obviously, the entertainment factor and the wow factor was like a lot more higher than this sickness thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was up there. But like the thing is, man, like that sickness, it was a lot. But I wanted so badly to try it. I was like, I've been watching these videos for like months. I'm going to dive in. I kept telling my friends, I'm like, you don't understand how cool this is. Like, we can play WoW with our hands, man. Like, actually moving our arms and casting spells. Like, this is so cool. I gotta try it. And then like it ruined me. And I was like, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna try it again. But that's I could have. All this could have been shut down just because motion sickness. So, yeah, you got to try not to be deterred by stuff that gets you.
Turning the lights off. Coming in, boys. That's it. Turn up. We're going home. Shut the doors. Close the place up.
We're all done, man. We're all done. Man. Okay, you know what? I do have one more question. So my very first game in VR was Orbis. What was your first experience? What was your first game?
It would have been at that event in April 2016 in London, and it was, I think it was a game called Rigs. Again,
yeah, I've heard of that. Why did that like die out? That game I never got to experience, but it looked like really cool, like a really awesome concept.
So Guerrilla, the people who make it, are a very established team. Rigs looked insane. Like, it looked pretty amazing. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure, I think it's Guerrilla Games. They made the Killzone franchise. Don't quote me on that, anyone who's really hardcore on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And the graphics were incredible. Like, and they probably still are today if you jumped in there today. But unfortunately, it was just, I think what happened was it was just too much too soon. You know? I don't know, Sony, and that's why PSVR 2, and I think everyone should happily invest in PSVR 2 when it happens, and if you can get a PS5, get one, because what Sony do is if they believe in a bit of tech, they will push and games as much as possible. The only thing they never did was bring the new controllers in. They should have brought the new controllers. But yeah, Rigs, anyway, absolutely amazing game, like a first-person mech game. It's like a sports game with it's like Speedball, and you got a score goal in your mech. But funny enough, and again, I probably should have found out I wasn't motion sick. There was an element. I remember standing there in Rigs. Now I didn't have a clue about virtual reality, so I've got the headset, and in the game, I'm standing next to other players, and I've got a body. Now in my mind, that is my body.
Right.
I can touch it. But I've only got a like dual shot controller in my hand. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to move my legs. I'm trying to move my not body tracking.
Right.
Nothing's happening. And I'm like, all right, okay. And then what they had was they had this feature where this robot picked you up, lifted you up, and put you inside the mech, and then the game sort of started. I honestly experienced vertigo.
Yeah.
Vertigo there.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd left. I remember thinking, oh God, like shaking a bit. I know you can't see me because it's rec room, but I'm physically moving. I remember thinking, oh my God. And I thought, well, this is incredible. So, funny enough, I cut that from the game in the end because it made so many people ill. And there was also an ejection feature, which I think got changed a bit. In that game, if you died, you then got ejected out of the mech straight up. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this was the first massive consumer-based real virtual reality headset because it was attached to a PlayStation, it was affordable, and yet these experiences were so really quite intense. Blood and Truth again. Like that was the second demo of the day, and I was sitting in a van next to a bald guy. I'm talking to him. Obviously, he can't talk back to me. And I'm picking up all this rubbish. And I remember my friend was there, so I was all a bit like showing off maybe. I opened the door, and in Grand Theft Auto, I love jumping out of cars and rolling down the road. And I opened the door, and I looked down the road, and I was like, no way, man. Shut the door. I couldn't. I didn't know this. Obviously, I couldn't actually physically get out of the van.
Right.
But I was too scared to.
It's a lot. Like people, especially whenever they're first experiencing VR, they need something very subtle. Just let your mind connect that it's a game, because whenever you first put it on, of course you think, oh, I'm putting it on. It's a game. It's not. The second you put it on, your brain does not register that as just like, this is a game. You're having fun. It's like, okay, hang on, wait. Why are we doing this? Is this safe? Can I survive this? Like, it really takes a second. It sounds so silly because, like, in your mind it's not real, but your mind still takes a minute to be like, hang on, let me figure this out. Let me get my bearings here. But
yeah, man. Like there's a demo which really worked on PSVR where your hands were tied and it was a Resident Evil demo. Did you ever check that out?
I haven't.
I don't know if you ever played that. So so you're one of the reporters. You're stuck in a chair, and this is where the DualShock kind of makes sense because your hands are in the same space, tied together, and one of your friends is trying to free you with a knife, and you end up both getting murdered, right? But it's only like, I don't know, 5 minutes long. But dude, I put my wife's sister. She said she loves horror films.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, yeah, I'll do it. She's never played VR since. It scared her so much. Like she was like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be that bad. I'm like, dude, that's the difference. You can play a horror game or you can be in the game.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Man, it's VR horror is something else because like you already have, the atmosphere, you have everything, you got the music sometimes, but like actually having something sprint at you. Audio. Yeah. Dude, we'll talk about it later, but there was I don't even have it on the list. I'll put it on there in a minute. There was a demo for Steam's next.
Are you on about the Japanesey one with Lantern?
No, I stayed away from that. I didn't know what that was about. I was like, I'm not going. No, there was one. It was called It was called DMN7. And it was based on a
as well.
That thing it looked like a giant vacuum walking around. It's not scary, but the second it turned around for the very first time and sprinted at me, I legitimately like panicked. I'm like, like what I do? Like you have that like freeze of, oh gosh, it's gonna kill me. Like what do I do here?
Yeah, dude. I run straight into the portaloo. I straight into the toilet. It was like a toilet. I jumped in there. I was like, why is there a toilet in this game?
Right. It stuck its head through the wall on the porta potties and like looked at me and I was like like frozen. I'm like, what do I do?
And it's so crazy that game. Like I thought the magic mirror thing was really cool.
I missed that one.
You done
you're talking about like where you lifted up and like read things.
Yeah. The purple screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was really cool. I liked that.
It was nice.
And I thought this game looks really great. And then the large vacuum cleaner thing coming. I was scared, but like later on, I looked at it and I was like, why was I scared of that thing? But it's just obviously rushing at you, the intensity of the music and stuff. Yeah, it's funny.
It all adds up. Yeah, like the way you put it. Actually, watching a horror film compared to being inside of one, like being inside of a game, it's way different, man. It's just
like Resident Evil 7 in VR is one of the best. Like if you haven't got a PSVR, I would buy a PSVR just for Resident Evil 7. That feels like a real event in my life.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing that game, being absolutely terrified, and then I remember getting the shotgun and thinking, thank God, I've got a shotgun. I can finally walk around the corner with confidence. Like every corner I was like, oh my God, get me in the corner. And then you get a shotgun and you're like, boom, It just felt so much better. So I'll never forget that.
Man, that's
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
We my buddy
shotgun
and
safety.
Shotgun safety. My buddy and I we tried the Forest, and like we had played it before, but I had never tried it in VR. And so he was on screen. He's like, dude, yeah, it's fine. He's like, dude, you love VR. Get in VR. Let's try this. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I played maybe 20 minutes in VR, and I was like, I'm going back to screen. I'm not okay. Things are running at me. I am freaked out. I can't I can't handle this right now. But
I love that. I love the forest in VR, but it runs so bad. It does. It's not a very well optimized VR game, is
nah,
it?
no, it was more so of like
No.
porting it over in a sense. It's good whenever they actually make a game that is horror that's made for VR. Cause they really lay into the aspects of what can scare you, and it's not always done, but like whenever they get it right, it's rather terrifying.
Yeah, and special. I'm really looking forward to Green Hell VR. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
When
That
happens.
seems interesting. So is that like horror or is that survival or is it like a mixture of both?
It's hard to tell because in the trailers they kind of try to push it. It looks pure survival, but they tend to add a lot of intensity to the music and stuff that make you feel like maybe there is. I think there is a species on there like humans kind of thing, you know, or whatever indigenous species or something. But yeah, like in the forest, those guys. It's the way they act. It's not. I remember watching a clip, or someone sent me a clip of my stream, where I was trying to get away from them, and I'd finally got away, and I was all like happy and stuff. And in the background, behind me, was a group of them that run across this hill to hide. And I was just, I watched that, and I thought, dude, that is terrifying. Like they're actually stalking you. They're stalking you to kill you. It is very intense, isn't it? And then you got all like body parts and stuff you can stick on sticks and
that game is very, very different. It's in the sense of surviving. That's what makes it so scary because like you've crash landed, your plane's destroyed, and now you're just on this island, but you're not alone. There's these weird creatures that are there, and like I don't know, if y'all have never tried the forest, you love horror, you love like a kind of a survival thriller experience, highly recommend it. Whether you play it in VR, flat screen, it's just great. That was definitely a creepy experience.
Absolutely.
But like the hands down the scariest moment I've had in VR, and it wasn't even a horror game, is what kills me. Is like I was playing Tarzan VR, loved it. I was so hyped about it, man. Favorite Disney movie, all this stuff. But I'm like Tarzan VR.
I've never played it.
Man, you need to try it. It's they just sent out email where it was talking about it's coming out on the Quest, and it has like different volumes, like or different chapters, and so like you play through these story chapters, and 1 and 2 has been out for a while. They're coming out with 3, but it's coming out on the Quest on July 1st, so this will be right around then. But man, it's such a good experience. But like I was exploring, and you can go out like from the island and go swimming and whatnot, and just look at the fish. And I'm like, this is so cool. And I'm swimming around the water, and the music like changed and started getting like very ominous. And I was like, why in the world why is it creepy? I don't understand. And I'm just still sitting there. I was so like fascinated, dude. Even worse. I'm swimming, and something like big, like really big, is starting to come out of the darkness. And I didn't realize it at first. It was like right here. It was an alligator, man, like a crocodile, and it full on, its jaws go up and like starts attacking. I lost it. I didn't know how to react besides like swimming as fast as I possibly could. I'm screaming, like throwing my arms around, I'm like, get me out of the water, please, let me go. I got on shore, and my hands were sitting here doing this the whole entire time. It was like later on, I went back and challenged them, but like in the water, you're in their element and you don't see them. They just come out of the darkness. Like if the whole entire water was the same color, fine. But they had like actual layers. Like the deeper the water was, the darker it was. So they they came. Oh man, yeah. If you ever play that game, go for a swim and tell me how you feel afterwards.
That game sounds brilliant. I remember like when I done my own podcasting, I remember playing the trailer, and the trailer was one of the best mixed reality trailers I've ever seen.
Hands down. They had so much involved. They had the guys actually swinging on things, like laying down. Like it was incredible. I loved that. It was so good.
And it's a really good game. It's a really good game.
It's actually a lot of fun. It has its own little stories. Cool. You can swing, you can fight things. Like it's unique in its own sense. There's like a lot of different enemies, and just I like it. I think it's actually a really cool idea.
You got me excited for that, dude.
You need to try it, man. You need to try it.
Did you play Swarm?
Yes. Yeah. I played Swarm.
Did you fall in the water?
No. What happens in the water? I made sure not to go down there.
Shark?
No, you do not.
Yeah. So I was playing it live. I actually clipped it to TikTok because I'm swinging around, and I calmly just thought, I'll just restart the level, and fell. I looked up, and this like figure of a shark goes, like really quickly. Dude, do you know what though? Quickly on in the you can't. Nothing is more scary than Phasmophobia. Nothing
Really?
is more scary than Phasmophobia.
Dude,
Have you done Phasmophobia?
I've done Phasmophobia. I played it with Mateo and Grumpy Duck a while back, and your pal. And the very first time I experienced it in VR, we cried like babies. Like it was bad. I saw Mateo get killed right in front of me, and I was screaming, like pounding on the door, trying to get out of the house. I was panicking. But like after a while, I'm used to it now. But like having those things run at you, it's rough. It's really rough,
Yeah, yeah.
man.
Like Phasmophobia, Oculus done like a tweet, and they wanted people's biggest jump scares in VR.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them my Phasmophobia. So basically, this particular ghost was really causing us problems because we was like one thing away from figuring out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up this ghost would only interact or do anything with one person alone. So it wasn't doing it for the other guys, and I was streaming to like, look, I'll do it, all alpha, try to be brave. And I went up there, instantly I was scared, and this guy just appeared in front of me with an axe, walked towards me, and I was meant to take a picture, which I'm quite proud of myself. I didn't get him, but I tried. It was wonky and like over here, but the fact my brain remembered to press the button, I was really impressed. I shouted so hard that my throat and my chest had pain afterwards. Like literally, dude, I only remember shouting that hard once when I was on like a holiday with some friends when I figured out one of my friends' nickname was Prawny. So I was going, Prawny, like as loud as I can. And it wrecked. I actually lost my voice in like 2 days. But shouting at that ghost, that I felt it come up from inside my chest. It wrecked my neck and my throat. It was crazy. It's crazy. That's why virtuality is so incredible.
Yeah.
Like this stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's the experience you can have that's just so realistic. But yeah, it's Phasmophobia definitely has its place of like terrifying us for a while. I played it a few other times, and it's been like a little less creepy because I'm more prepared. But those first few goes and actually like getting into the house, lights cutting off, stuff happening, that's where it like makes your skin crawl. Like it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I need to find that clip though. That sounds hilarious. That and then the shark. I need to see both of those.
Yeah, the clip one's easy on TikTok. The Resident Evil one, I'll have to have a look through it. It was a long time. I mean, Phasmophobia one, I'll have to try and find it. But I even slowed it down as well, like the. Well, I'm like, oh, it was absolutely mental. That was probably that's probably the biggest reaction I've ever had in VR for me personally. Physically, I could feel it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Man. All right, so what we're doing here today is like the whole right. We've been chilling, we've been talking. This is what the whole entire Soulcast is about. It's about two souls come together, chit chat, and having a good time. It's great. But we're talking about Steam's Next Fest. They had a huge, and I mean massive. I didn't even touch like any flat screen games, but I know there were hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of demos for people to try. In VR, we had maybe I want to say 20 or 25. It was still good. There was still a decent amount of games.
Yeah.
So Gamertag and I, we both dove into a lot of different games. I've got your list here. I've got my list under that. So we're going to go through your games, talk about what you experienced. Do you see it being, a game you would pick up in the future? What you liked about it, what was wrong with it, kind of stuff like that. So first, starting us off, you had Iron Rebellion. That's not one I don't even think I saw. Like, what is that about?
So Iron Rebellion, so I'm a big fan of mech games in VR. Like, I love the idea of mech and anime mech. And this game was graphically great, sounded fantastic, had all the noises of a robot starting up, but what it had was the speed of a competitive first-person shooter. It wasn't like Vox Machina, where it was like, I love Vox, I'm not saying it's bad. The Vox is like if mechs were real,
right?
Like they're probably massively slow and cumbersome, and like this was like, dude, I'm moving. And then you got very fast jets to go up in the air, great weapons. As I said, the sounds are fantastic. And it's in alpha, like it's multiplayer. I think it's multiplayer and single player. I didn't get to check any multiplayer. But that game for me, out of everything, is the game that I'm more out of all the ones I played. That is the one I'm hyped for. From I Expected to Die 2, obviously.
Right.
That was above the demos. That was
something
polished.
else. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like out of all the indie stuff, I guess you can say, Iron Rebellion was the one that is the game that I will regularly, and I can't get hold of the developers. I wish I could because I'd love to keep playtesting. That is the game for me of Next Fest. Yeah.
Man, yeah, mentioning
awesome.
trying to get a hold of developers. There's with some games, they're like so small and the studios are so small, like they don't even have like Twitter or like an email you can just find easily. And it's like, dude, I want to talk to you. I want to promote your game. Let's work together. And it's like, where are you? I physically can't find you anywhere on the internet. It's like,
I know.
I'm just trying, man. But that does sound sweet.
I think I saw so much.
I think I saw a little bit of gameplay for it, and the one thing you mentioned, the speed, I realized that like it's mechs, but it wasn't slow, and that's something that like I'm not a fan of with mechs because like it's it's slow paced, but you're still fighting whatnot, but like fast paced mechs, that actually sounds interesting, and I wish I did give that one a try. But that does sound cool. It does sound really really cool. Next up,
I loved it.
You have you have hands down my favorite game, besides I Expect You to Die 2.
I know what you're gonna say, dude.
Dude, Sweet Surrender. I haven't shut up about this game since I played it.
The music and the style.
Everything.
Oh my god.
Everything that yes, the music. The music is hype. It gets you into the action. Whenever you start shooting, you feel like you're in the action scene. Somebody just called action and you were going for it. Like you were, oh my goodness, the guns feel amazing. Actually like running away from things. And whenever they put you in those small rooms with a lot of enemies, oh my goodness, I loved it. I loved it so much. So it's like, how would you describe it? It's like a roguelike. I think that's it. Just like a roguelike.
Yeah,
a little shoot 'em
up. Roguelike FPS kind of thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
man,
yeah.
like
as you said, like the graphical style fits VR so well.
Yeah. It was like semi cel shaded, but not like too much. It was just like a little bit. And apart from that, the guns look great. I don't know if you ever found like any of the other ones, but there was a long assault rifle. And the second I found that, I was it was one-shotting everything. It looked so good too. But yeah, like that.
I'll have to check that out,
dude. The way the guns felt, how everything just made you feel intense. You had the little upgrades. There's like little chips you can take and drop them on your arms, and you get upgrades. And
yeah.
Man, that I've reached out to the developers.
Do me a favor, dude. Do me a favor, dude.
Yeah.
When you edit this, put the music, the title music of Sweet Surrender, as we speak about it. Because those guitars, and I'm like, oh, dude, that is so cool.
It was good, man.
That was a very good demo. That was
Absolutely.
a very good demo. Do you have any idea about like when it releases? Or
no,
what's
not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. And I am very upset about that. I want to play it.
Because you can't get hold of the developer.
No, okay, right? I finally did get a hold of them, but that is a question I need to ask about. Hey, when can I play this again? Like, when can I go further and not just get a plant as a reward for beating your demo? Like, by the way, I don't know what that's about, but I love developers that are just like goofy and do stuff like that. Like, you beat the demo and they say, "Thank you for playing. Here's a plant." And it's like, what? Man, that game. I full on. I've gone back to it. I've gone back to a demo, and that's not something I feel like I would do. But I've gone back to it just to run through it multiple times. Like it's so good.
I might have to do that actually. I might have to do that. I haven't got much time, but when I done my I did a little video of like the top 5 or 4 I did, and when I was making that, I was like watching it back, thinking this was so epic. Yeah, like it's very epic. Like, it's very good.
I think that's the
it's
perfect
procedure
word.
Generated, I believe.
Yeah. So it's gonna things change, and it's dude. I'm spoiled now. I want that. Like I want that back in my life. Like
I want that. I want that. You're gonna give it to me.
But yeah, I mean, I kid you not. The second, if the developers allow me to play it early, bless them. I really want to try that. But like, if I don't, and I can only play it the second it starts, like the second it releases, I'm getting it and I'm playing it. Y'all will see it on the channel multiple times because I won't shut up for a while about it. Like it's so good.
That.
Man,
what's been your game where, like for me personally, I was trying to do the new stuff all the time, but sometimes a game comes along and you just, nothing else matters. Yeah. For me, one of them, and I don't know if you might remember it, Lies Beneath. Did you ever play that?
No, it sounds semi-familiar. What is like? I feel like I've heard that name.
It's like you're talking about that graphical style of Surrender is the same in Lies Beneath. It's a cel-shaded comic book style survival horror. and I absolutely love that game. I could not stop it. There is like Capcom style moments of boss fights, like massive monster with an eyeball, or you're in a cabin with a shotgun, and all these like weird pig and deer people are climbing in through all the windows. You got to survive. Like, dude, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Throwing an axe at someone, and while they're stumbling, shooting them with a pistol. It's good. It's really good.
Mine's
You got to check that out.
Oh, definitely. It sounds intense. My two I always come back to is Rec Room, Beat Saber. Doesn't matter if there's no updates. It just I like they have a place in my heart. So definitely come back to those two. But like, dude, Sweet Surrender, I love that game. But I'm gonna get down. I'm gonna play it again one day. It's fine. I'll get back to it. So next up on your list you have 2076. Isn't that like a
from
military kind of flyer, or like what is that about? Or am I way off?
So it's a side-scrolling shoot. Well, I say side-scrolling shoot 'em up. It actually flipped camera angles like 3 times. Did you play? I think is it 1976 from Ivanovich Games? So Ivanovich did Operation Arcade, and they did. So I think the original series was 1946, and it was a very big arcade franchise. It might have been Midway, and it was the top-down shooter, like a plane game, and back in the military days. So their take on virtuality is what they do is they give you an arcade cabinet, and the world comes out, or you go into it. Yeah. I thought that was absolutely brilliant because in 1976 you actually get to then play it from an arcade view. You get to play it being inside the arcade machine, and then you get to also play it flying the plane first person as well. And they did that with this. So this is 2076, and this is a science fiction like R-Type, if that rings any bells. Science fiction, yeah, it's a futuristic shooter with the same stuff. I actually love those kind of games, like Ikagura on Dreamcast. I love all those side-scrolling shooters, or top-down shooters, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, it really delivered. That was a really good one. But you've been on Between Realities podcast, haven't you? Yeah, with Skiver and it's got their music.
Really?
It's the same. Yeah. So I played the game and I was like, why am I listening to Between Realities podcast? They must have all just like borrowed the music from somewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was surreal, dude. I was like, why am I constantly thinking about Skeever and Alex?
Man, I've had a few people hit me up with that. They say, this person's using your outro music, man. Do I need to like say something to them? I'm like, you realize I didn't make that. I found it. I used it, but it's weird how people like adapt it to you. It's like that's how it's known. It's like I don't own it, but yeah. That's actually really cool though. You found that, and it's linked up to Between Realities. By the way, love those guys. Skiva, Alex, if you're watching, hello, how you doing?
Sup, fellas?
All right, so next up you have Oh wait, that's actually the first one on my list too. Arcade Legend. So like it's a game where you own an arcade, you get your own machines, you get your own like prizes and stuff. Like what did you think about this?
I absolutely loved it. There were some weird choices. Like if you try to make the place tidy, it made a massive noise like in your ears. I didn't get that bit. Apart from that, I absolutely loved it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, the idea of having your friends come into your arcade, and those like I know Rick could probably do exactly the same thing. I'm sure you'd agree. But these arcade games are quite tight. That they looked great, they played great.
Yeah,
and yeah, a lot of promise.
Yeah, it was. They were like legitimate arcade games. I've actually played. Excuse me. I've actually played those games like at arcades around here, like bowling alleys and whatnot. Like there's what was it called? I can't remember the name of it, but it's essentially like a game that has all your different lights. Yes, and you're just smashing buttons. Yeah. I've done that like at bowling alleys. Like we all look like dang fools doing it, but it's so much fun. I'm sitting there just smacking things and having a good time with it, and like it's cool that like you can take that from an actual arcade, bring it out and put it in a video game and like build your own arcade. And it was unique. And like it has that like tycoon feel to it because like you have to wait for money to come back in. You got to get revenue to get more games, more stuff. And I feel like for people that grew up in an arcade, they're gonna love that. And for people that actually want to like build something up from the ground, it's definitely gonna be a good game for them. But it was really unique.
Did you finish it where the wall come down? Everything.
No. Oh wait. There's a wall?
Yeah. So I thought I'd broke the game, or the game was just busted. but I got all 3 arcade machines. I got the furniture, and I feel sorry for my stream because sometimes they've just got to put up with it. I'm just like, dude, I'm playing this game.
Right.
It's up to you if you want to stay. But I'm like playing these games, getting all these. I love getting tokens.
Mhm.
I love getting tokens in my hand. It's so addictive. And then suddenly all the walls started cracking, and like the world was shaking, and this wall come down, and then on the other side of the wall was a bowling alley, and like big bar area, and basically the guy was like telling you about all the upcoming features of the game. Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome. No, I completely missed out on that. I think I played and got 2 arcade machines, and then I got some of the furniture, and I had to cut it off then. But like, that's actually really cool to put that at the end. Like people that actually accomplish it, let them know what's coming. That's dope.
Do you know what really stood out in my mind though? As soon as you logged into that, is that alley scene,
Yes.
and you had the power glove thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is special.
It was cool, man. If y'all haven't seen that, like I'm gonna have a list to all these games in the description. Y'all need to check them out. But that one definitely, it's a unique experience. It's something that I don't feel like a lot of people have done in VR. So
Yeah,
very cool. Very
for
cool.
sure.
All right, next up on my list we have Arcade. Did you check that one out?
I didn't know.
Okay,
Sorry.
so it's, how do I put this? It's you start
I
off.
say this, but you might start talking about it, and I might say, "Oh yeah."
Hey, I was gonna say, to be fair, you had a long stream, man. You were going through a lot of games.
I was trying. Yeah.
But like you start off in a basement, and there's posters and newspapers everywhere about some kind of like nuclear war and all this stuff's going on, and you're in your mom's basement. There's this giant cord coming down. It's hooked up to an arcade machine. You go and click start, and like the world, it starts sucking you in. Yes. Okay. And how everything looks inside the game, that was beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
All the enemies looked incredibly cool.
Yeah.
It was like everybody's red, and you're protecting this little like flying cube. Like normally it would be how much life you have. No, that's that cube you had to protect. And dude, it reminded me a little bit of Pistol Whip. You're like going through each level, moving as fast as you can, trying to headshot everything, and it was satisfying. Like there's power ups you can shoot, and they come to you, and like your pistol goes from like a normal pistol, like these 20 extra bullets on the side. You can get a grenade launcher. I lost my grenade launcher the very second I got it. I was so sad. But
no.
The game itself was great.
I remember that. It's really cool. The gun transforms, doesn't it, with what you select. It actually physically transforms and changes. I thought that was a really cool feature.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
And like, dude,
it reminded me of Tron.
Yeah, it does have that look to it. There's like all the bad enemies are like, well, they're red. You got it. Just dude, they're so. I'm gonna have like little clips because like trying to explain all this without you actually seeing it might not make sense. But there'll be clips on the bottom somewhere. But like the game itself just looked incredible. And like music was dope.
Yeah.
Firing was great. They even had like a power up where you could slow down time, and slowing down time and then getting a headshot after headshot after headshot, satisfying. So satisfying.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and there was definitely like a thing there where you had to keep that up because actually the game was pretty hard.
Yes,
it was
absolutely.
Like, until you figured out that mechanic and managing these power-ups. Because funny enough, like the developer, fun fact, I've actually got the icons changed. H, for some reason, meant machine gun. I didn't know that. So anyway, I messaged it. He must have watched my video, and he messaged me, and he went, yeah, we've changed all the icons now. So like, I don't know what the time slow one is. That's now more obvious. The machine. So I was getting these power-ups, and I was like, I don't know what this does.
Right.
So I've just got to try it to see what's going to happen. But yeah, like so much potential again. And it's also got like a chill to it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like Pistol Whip, I feel very intense in that game a lot of the time. As this game, I felt like I could kind of chill and play it a little bit. I don't know how to explain that.
It's you have a little bit more freedom with being able to move around. Pistol Whip, you're locked into like essentially a moving line. Like you can lean left or right. This one you can move a little bit. Like the world's still moving, but you have more time to do what you need to do. It's not just like you have to continuously move. Yeah, and it's so funny though. I saw that update on Twitter, or like I think it was Twitter, where they said we changed the H to M, and I was like, why would a machine gun be based upon H? Like, why is that a power?
funny enough, there's a series. I used to spend all my life in arcades,
Hmm.
and Neo Geo Metal Slug.
Yeah, Metal Slug.
Do you remember Metal?
Yeah.
So Metal H in Metal Slug is machine gun.
Okay, now I need to go back and figure out why they did it in the first. Maybe that's where he got the inspiration from. But like, that's so
I
weird.
think so.
That is so odd.
Yeah. I didn't know that until afterwards, but yeah.
Man. But overall, fantastic game. Cool visuals. It's just it's unique. It's very cool. It's very.
I mean, already that's five top games already.
Yeah.
Really, in mind. Personally.
There are a lot of dope ones, man. Next one. You and I both are gonna talk about this a lot because we loved I Expect You to Die. That was a game I had in my library for like the longest time, and I never like found my way around to getting it until they reached out. And I was like, you know what? This is the time. I'm gonna set apart some time and actually try it. I loved the first one. I ran through it. The second one, the demo, I was so upset that there was not more. I wanted to play the game. I was the opening sequence, just like singing and all the stuff happening around you. Oh, it was beautiful, man. It was so nice.
Dude.
It was lovely.
Mind blowing. I mean, so Mike, like VR Oasis Mike, he said to me, "You're gonna." He didn't tell me how short it was because I chose to stream it. I was like, oh, "I'm gonna stream this. You know, I can't wait to play this." And I watching the opening, I was like, "Dude, this is just like full on. It looks incredible. The graphics even look better. Everything looks amazing." And as you just like, the demo was just like.
It cut so short, but it was like it left you wanting more. They found that time of like right when you're about to dive in, you think you're about to play, and then they stop you and say, "No, come back." Once it's finished, you come back. Man, I can't wait.
They did. But at the time, I probably would have punched someone from their team.
Oh, fair enough. 100% fair enough.
I was so angry. I was like, no! Yeah, so yeah, you're right. It did actually. Their plan worked.
Yeah, it worked, but like the anger, I completely 100% get that. Like I screamed. I was mad. I was like, I we were just getting started. You know, they're like, pull the curtain up, do this. I'm like, yes, the curtain's rising. And like the guy that's down on the stage speaking, I'm like leaning over, like trying to see him. I'm like, okay, it's about to go down, and then just nothing. I was angry.
They should do that. They should have actually trolled us and made a video of the clips of when everyone went stopped.
That'd be great.
Reactions.
Dude, yeah, but like that game, I cannot wait. I've got like a character I have on my channel. It's SoulFoxGaming. Like anytime I'm doing anything like secret agent wise, I always get dressed up. I put on the tie.
Oh, wow.
Like I'm so ready to get back to that game. I'm so excited. So hopefully that'll be here soon. I think did it say August it's releasing?
I honestly cannot remember, but yeah, I do remember thinking like it's a little bit way off still.
Yeah,
you know,
I was hoping it was sooner, man. But like I'm looking forward to it. I really am. So yeah, that's definitely one of my top ones right there. Next up, one I'm a little conflicted about. Like I had a somewhat good time. Some of it I'm still very questionable. Into the Darkness. Now I saw this game, and dude, it looked like it had so much promise. But I saw a little bit, like a few clips of yours, because I didn't want to spoil too much, but I wanted to tune in, see what you're up to on your stream. And it was during your playtest for this. And, I don't feel like you had the most positive look towards it, which I 100% understand. I started playing it, and okay, I'll say this. For me, the best thing about that game was, like, the knife combat. That was I enjoyed that. I loved actually fighting the robots. Everything else just felt weird. It felt like a mixture of Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks. Like we're trying to like come together, but it just didn't quite add up, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know. What was your take, man?
I was just going to say, if I ever like win the lottery, okay, and I start my own website and review team, I'm going to get you on it.
Dude, I'm down.
Because I think you've got the same thing. So what I loved, the graphics were nice. When the game run, because it crashed twice on me. But the graphics were nice. But the game was Half-Life Alyx gloves with Saints and Sinners backpack and stabbing motion with Boneworks gunplay.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
100%. Even climbing the ladders felt like Boneworks. Like you were shaking all over. I'm like, this is very reminiscent.
Yeah. But there was no gameplay for me. Like I think it was Upload VR, wrote an article or a clip or something, and I thought, and like you look at clips of that game, it looks great. Like if you saw 5 seconds of that game, you'd be like, dude, I want to play it. Yeah, like I saw their article and I went over to Discord to the developers and I was like, guys, can you like throw me in here? I'd love to check this out. And they were like, it's a Steam demo on Next Fest. And I was like, oh, sorry, man. No worries. Thank you ever so much for your time. I played it. I tried to play it twice on Steam, on stream. It crashed. And when I did get to play it, I was so underwhelmed. I was just, you know, I'm not that interested in where the game goes at the moment from now on, because if I wanted any of those games, I would just play what the games are trying to be. I would rather play Boneworks or Half-Life Alyx or Saints and Sinners. That's my problem.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It was there was one, and I mean one specific time in that whole entire demo where I was like, this is awesome. Like I was having a great time, but the rest of it was very like slow paced. And I don't know about you, I couldn't sprint. I could not sprint. I kept clicking the button. I kept trying to run. It would not work for me. So I would hop everywhere. And the the worst thing was the hops only worked half the time. So like it would hop, I would boost forward, I'd hop again, and it would just throw me backwards or throw me to the side. So I was going so slow throughout that whole entire demo.
It was alpha, wasn't it? Though?
Yeah, it's a demo. Alpha, it's a demo. Yeah. It's still learning. It's still growing. But like there was one room where you enter, and there's probably like 7 robots or so. And I couldn't stand the pistol. Like I used it a few times, but like I was like, it didn't feel right to me. And so I would put that down. I would grab a knife. I flipped around backwards, and I was just like ready to go at the robots. So I'm sitting there, stabbing. And the way they tell you, in the game, you have to stab the robots in the head. That's how you destroy them. And that actually felt good. Like that felt like really strong. You'd hit something, you actually felt the force of the knife hit them, and you had to like push them off a little bit to get your knife back. It felt good. But the rest of it, it was just, like you mentioned, it's just kind of like a mixture of all of them coming together, but they're not quite a whole game. Like a whole Boneworks, a whole Alyx.
Jack of all trades. It's not particularly the best of any of them.
Yeah.
So me personally, if I want that, I love the Half-Life Alyx. I think a lot of games now have gravity-style gloves. They want you to grab things without physically needing to grab them.
Yeah.
Which is great for VR. I think that's a great mechanic. Saints and Sinners, as soon as I like pulled the backpack out, I was like, I recognise the bag,
right,
and everything. But yeah, if I want that style of game, to be honest, I would actually just put on Boneworks,
right?
Because Boneworks is that game, but prettier and a lot more solid. So yeah, for me, like unless something drastic changes with that game, where I don't know, it's got a really fantastic campaign or something, I'd probably not revisit it for a while.
Yeah, and it's not us like trying to bag on a game. We are truthfully reviewing it. We're telling you our experiences, and it does have promise. Like it could go somewhere great, but I feel like it's focusing too much on too many different aspects. Like if focus on like either the gunplay, the knife play, like that. To me, that was the highlight. Was actually fighting the robots, but it was so spaced out. Only happened once, and then robots by themselves. You fight a robot. 5 minutes later, fight another robot. Like give me some challenge here. Let me run into them. Let me actually fight off a few. Focus on that. But yeah, as you mentioned, the story.
I felt actually like when you just said that, it felt like the game didn't have an identity. That's what I think was where I was. There was no like, I didn't leave the game and think that was Into VR or Into the Darkness. I didn't feel that. It literally just felt like a prototype of what would happen, guys, if we put Half-Life Alyx with Boneworks, with Saints and Sinners, and whipped it all together.
Yeah.
And that's what we got. And it was, it just felt a bit soulless to me. I think that's where I'm at, actually. When you just said that, I'm now thinking to myself, there was just no identity to the game for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was.
Like with all the other games, I've quite literally mentioned they are unique. They have their own thing they have going for them. This one, it didn't feel like it had its own, it wasn't like its own game. It was a mixture. And it's, I don't know, it could hold promise in the future. And the story could be amazing. It could be something we really want to dive into. But for the time being, I'm with you. It's just not something I'm like over the top for. Which is, I feel bad because I was excited about it. Like that was one of the games I was actually getting really excited about. Like the trailers look incredible. They look really good. So maybe it improves.
First game I wanted to start my stream with.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited to play it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So hopefully it improves.
We're not here to trash games. We're not here to. It's just opinions.
It's okay to have an opinion. It's okay. It's all right.
Absolutely.
So honestly though, I hope the best for that game. I hope it does great because if you watch a trailer, it makes you want to get that game. Like they did well with that, and I'm hoping it lives up to that hype. So maybe we just didn't get to experience it, but I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
That guy, like, if anyone's watching and they enjoyed it, like, put comments below. Like, let other people know why you enjoyed it. That's what
I would love to see
it's all
that.
about on YouTube. Yeah.
So, but overall, I hope it does well, and we'll see. Next up was one that I was very excited about. Something that got me into Rec Room and actually started me like making videos was not just Rec Royale, but also love doing escape rooms. I love it. I love using my mind. I love puzzles. I think it's great. But there was a game called Paranormal Detective Escape from the 90s. Did you give this one a shot?
That sounds amazing, and no, I didn't.
Dude, this is one that stumped me. Like I did not finish the demo. I've got to go back and continue recording.
Was this in an arcade?
It does get there. It does get there. You start off in like an office and like you're a paranormal detective. You've got like case files everywhere. After you get out, you go into an arcade. Like somebody full on hits you over the head, traps you in an arcade.
Yes.
Yeah, I got stuck in the arcade.
Yeah, I got the email, I got the screenshots, and yeah, I think he said something. The only thing that I wanted to do, I think he said something about it could be scary or some horror in it, but I just didn't see any evidence of any scares, so I didn't try it, but I should have.
No,
maybe.
I've seen zero horror so far. Maybe I'm not there yet, but like to me so far, it's been very lighthearted. Like, yes, the cases are like very bad. You know, there's kids that have gone missing. You're trying to figure out what's going on with all this. That I get, but there's been no like jump scares, no anything like that. It's just been you're quite literally trapped trying to figure out what's going on, and
yeah.
I mean, for the most part, I was very lighthearted about it. I got to play like on a claw machine, and I was super excited about that. I was sitting there just going around like, you know, capturing like balls and dropping them and trying to capture like different prizes. Like that was great. Played skee ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult. Like escape rooms, I love really putting your mind to things, and they even have like a little cell phone you can reach out and like, you know, quit the game. You can get information about what you're doing in the game right now, and there's even like a place where you can click and get a hint. I had to use that. I could not figure out what in the world was going on. I'm like, what do I do here? I am all around. I don't clearly see the picture. And then they give me the hint. And I'm like, I'm already looking at this. What do you mean? That's not my hint. I need something more. I'm like trying to figure it out, but it's rather cool. I don't know where that game's going, and I plan on actually going back in trying to figure out, you know, what the rest of the demo holds. But it's a very tough escape room. I'll give you that. If you want to really challenge your mind, try out that demo, because it's a lot, man.
Have you played Into the Room VR?
I don't think I
sure
have.
it's called Into the Room. It's a highly polished escape room. I haven't finished it, mind you, but
does the picture of it, or does like the banner of it look like a time watch, and like it's like a tan background? Okay, I have heard of that. I don't know what the name is, but I have seen that. Oh no, The Room. It's just called The Room. I'm pretty sure that's it.
It is The Room. Type in The Room and it's not coming up, and I'm like, why is it not coming up? Because that game is really good. That's really polished. Yeah, we'll find it. That is a really good game. That is a really good game. That's one of my favorites.
I'm gonna have to give that a shot. There's so many, and there was I think it might have been the last Steam Summer Sale or one of the summer sales. And I looked up Escape and typed in VR, and there were so many that were just cheap, like a couple bucks. I'm like, I want it. It looks good. I'll try it out. And so like I've just got this list waiting to go and like just do a whole entire like week of just escape rooms, and I'm excited for it, man. I love it. I love actually like challenging my mind, trying to figure out puzzles, and I'm excited.
Do you do physical ones? Do you go to real ones around?
I've been to one. No, I've been to two. I did one back in ministry as well. Like, by the way, escape rooms trying to take a group of like teens to figure out an escape room and let them do it. It's hilarious. And I loved it. It was great. Yeah. But like I went with family too, and when we went to, the thing that stood out to me is like you literally start off, everybody's handcuffed to a hospital bed, and like you had to like start off the game by like moving this hospital bed around the room trying to get out. I love it though, man. I want to go back. I want to go try another one, and I definitely need to do that soon. How about you though? Have you actually been to a real life escape room?
Yeah, I've done a couple. Yeah, we weren't handcuffed to any hospital beds. But they're pretty. Yeah, like I mean that sounds absolutely amazing to me. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it was a good one. I had a good time with it. But yeah, it's paranormal detective, escape from the 90s. Very difficult, very challenging. If you like perplexing your mind, figuring out puzzles, give that one a shot. And then Well, actually, yeah. The last one I had on my list was Sweet Surrender, but I've already gushed about that a lot, so y'all know my thoughts on that.
Certainly did.
Okay, you know what? I do have one final question for you here, and I wanted to ask, what is your motivation for making VR content? Why do you enjoy doing what you're doing?
It's sort of, I think the message, it's kind of changed a little bit. It's evolved because now, like you've got a community.
Mm-hmm.
You know people. Like when you first start out, you don't know anyone. You're just doing it. So now you know people probably in your Discord and your Rec Room, and there's that. There's like a bit of responsibility with it now, a little bit, to always try and be honest, tell the truth. Because there's a lot. Like I'm an adult. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not a kid.
Right.
But there's a lot of young people in VR now, especially because of the Quest. So I kind of feel like you got to be good and do the best stuff. But do you know what it is? It's because even now, I can still talk to all the people I know in the real world, and they still haven't tried VR. It's still not at that point. For me, like it's weird. Like in this room where I am now, and in this headset, my world is purely on the internet. And that's the crazy thing. Like all the people I feel I know, like, are in VR.
Yeah.
It's wherever they are in the world. Like obviously I've got friends and family outside this door, but it's crazy because it all seems so real to me. And that's what I think keeps me going. And it's just he's trying to. There's also I talked about responsibility. There's a lot of people who are just spamming stuff or reviewing stuff incorrectly in my mind, and whatever it is, I just try and feel like I'm just trying to do the best I can. You know. And stuff. What about you?
To kind of like go off what you said, being honest, man, it's we do get paid at times for doing work. For doing, we get sponsorships, we get partnerships. That happens. But I'm not going to be at the point where I'm going to like get paid to tell you something's good whenever it's kind of garbage. Like I'm going to be honest with you. Like if it's not something I personally enjoy, I'm not going to sit there and tell you, oh yeah, it's great, it's awesome, you need to try it. No, I'm going to be honest because people, we do have responsibilities now. Like people, entrust us to be honest and to like really tell them about, our thoughts and our opinions. And so I do kind of see that now, the responsibility that comes along with it. Whenever I first started out, oh, go ahead.
No, go on, sorry. No, I was just going to say, like, I mean, you've got more subscribers than me on YouTube. Like, I get offered to review and promote stuff that's got nothing to do with VR.
Yeah.
Like, it's just random stuff, or I get a game which is, I think, particularly terrible. And I do see other people do it.
Yeah.
And it angers me a little bit because I might know them. I want to say to them, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why have you done that? Because if you know as well as I do that you can edit a video to make something look a lot better than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of editing anyway. Like you're not going to edit a power cut, or you're not going to edit, I don't know, your headset disconnected, all that stuff. But if a game is poor and it just plays poorly and it's no fun and stuff, like I'm out.
Yeah.
And if someone wants me to promote, I've had some really strange emails with paid sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, dude, I don't see the relevance and I don't see the point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you obviously get that as well.
Yeah, 100%. There's even times, and like there's a saying in my community, we always say if I ever break a game, and it happens a lot more with VR than it ever would with a flat screen game. Those are not more polished, but they're more easy to control crash-wise. Like, we have a saying, I'll say, if I crash a game, I break a game somehow, it's put it on the list. And, like, I will show that in my videos. Even with games I love, if it breaks, it happens. Like, I'm going to be upfront with you. This happened. Don't do this. You will crash this game if you do this. Don't do it. It's still a great game, but be careful. And, but yeah, like, weird emails and, like, weird offers, and, like, they don't relate to, like, what you're about. It's like, yeah, I could do it for money. That's great. But why? Like, I'm working on something here to where I'm trying to build it up where it's a VR focused community. Like, this is what I want people to see.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to do. I want VR to grow, and that's one of my missions now. But whenever I started, it quite literally, I had a saying. It was, I want people to see VR or the virtual world through my eyes, and I still carry that mission, but it's grown more than that. Like I like you mentioned, now we have our communities. I love my community. They are dope. They are awesome, and I love the VR community. Like we're still small, but like we're very close knit. Like I know at any point in time I can reach out to you. I can reach out to Alex. I can reach out to V Bunny, anybody, and they're going to be there for me because we're all trying to grow together. We're all trying to like grow VR, let people know about it, and be honest about it. But yeah, man, like there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on behind the like scenes of like doing what we do. Like,
I've had shower gel. I've had
shower gel.
Yeah, I showered. That was a weird one. I showered. Yeah, because I think
man.
I don't know. I think there was a rumor going around that I was like a fitness instructor or something.
Dude,
I don't know. Like,
you could have made it work. Like filmed it. You had on the headset in the shower, and you're just like pouring the shower gel over you. It's great. It's great whether you're in the real world or the virtual one, and just lathering it. Oh man,
lathering up the quest. It gives your quest such a shine. I've had shower gel, and I've had gaming. Is it Gaming Legends? There's like a really famous like mobile game. I think it's Gaming Legends. That one keeps coming through. Monster Legends, Monster Hunter. Legends.
I think I've had one like it's Monster something. But I have seen that, and it's mobile, which I don't think I would ever do a mobile ad unless it was Raid Shadow Legends just for the joke, just purely for the joke of it. Because I remember, I think it was last year, where like every single gaming video, no matter where you went on YouTube, Raid Shadow Legends, and I just want to do that just to be completely absurd, just to like get it out there, make the most ridiculous ad, kick a door in or something, just like. Like no reason to be over the top. That's all I want from it. Like the game, it seems great, but it's just I do VR. I'm gonna focus on VR. But like, man, it's that was a missed opportunity, man. With that shower gel, that could have been it.
There was definitely that. There was that. I don't know. There's been a few, but yeah, unfortunately, like I'm just like delete. Yeah. They just. And do you know what I find really weird is that I actually think my channel doesn't do well at all. Like, I don't get it. Like, I think in YouTube terms, I think my channel is a speck.
Yeah.
Like, literally a speck. My views they're crazy, but on average, I'd probably say they're not very great, especially in YouTube terms. And as you said, virtuality, it's a storm in a cup. Like, it is, and that's the worst thing about us. Why? If any developers ever watch this, play test your games, because if a game comes out, Last Naughts, for example, I think that game might recover because it is actually a really good game. It's got a promise, but first impression of VR is so big because it only takes a couple of words and everyone knows about it. It doesn't take long.
It's weird. It's like I'm going to put this in the terms that I feel like it fits best. We carry a lot with our words. Like our words carry weight, I guess the right way to say it. And so we want to use that properly. We don't want to tear down people. Same thing as we were talking about with Into the Darkness. The game has promise, but it's just not something we personally like. And that's not to tear it down. I hope that game thrives. Same with Larcenize. I actually really enjoyed it, but there were a few features that like it completely destroyed the game for me. The hands. The hands were too weird. Sprinting. Yeah. If you were sprinting, you could not pull out your gun in time to actually fight somebody. You would sprint right into them while you're waiting for the animation to come back. That's not okay. But it didn't mean like we're going to tear down the game, because the game still itself was awesome. It had great classes, has customization, does a lot that a lot of the games are not doing enough of these days. Like letting your person feel, your hero feel special. And I don't know, it just, we do have responsibility.
You hit the nail on the head. There's certain games where they have character and they have like, they are individual. Like we were saying about, whatever the game is, Into the Darkness. That game, as I said, for me, has no identity really. It's borrowed. As Last Naughts has identity. It's kind of like Overwatch for VR, and and I know that sounds like a real cheesy hashtag, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
You've got real characters. They've got character. All the weapons are different. There's some really great. There's just some really great gameplay in there. I remember even with all these broken bits, I was still laughing a lot of the time. I was still having a really good time. And I remember thinking, if they can fix all this stuff, it's a winner, And it's contender for Pop 1, and you can't get enough of that stuff in virtuality.
No.
You know?
Trying to get a multiplayer game, and I tell people this a lot of times, trying to get a multiplayer game that actually thrives in VR is not easy. I feel like that is one of the hardest tasks people can take on when making a game. Because like single player games, you can make a great experience. All you got to do is focus on that one person, let them have a good time. Multiplayer, you have to get people to come back to enjoy it. So if they're not enjoying their very first time playing it, it's hard to get them to even try it a second time, and your community just dies. And this happens a lot with multiplayer games, but that one, Larcenites, it has promise. They are fixing their issues. Like, they saw where they messed up. They said, okay, we hear you. We're going to do this. Yep. They did. I will wholeheartedly say this. I'm going to be releasing video soon on Larcenites. I'm going to record some. I think it's great. I can't wait to get in and play some more. But I do feel like they released a little bit too early without those changes. And they did test it a little bit, but it was just... Maybe they were on a time crunch. They had already planned to come out then, so they had to. You know, they set their words in stone. But that was a dangerous launch. Like that could have flopped from the issues, but they are recovering, and I hope they fully recover.
That was definitely one of the most disastrous launches of a VR game I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Impulse Gear are a very, well, I'd say a great studio. I think you just hit the nail on the head. It was all about the crunch.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, Oculus are like, do it, release it, done, blah, blah, blah. Some stuff had behind the scenes with me, like chatting to people and stuff. And it was obvious that I was hitting a wall. It was going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
And, I think you've hit the nail on the head completely with that game. You knew it from playing it. You were like, this game is not ready.
No.
And not finished.
No.
Yeah. It's a strange position to be in. And then that's responsibility on us, you know, like that's the difference, right? That we could just play that game and then put a review out and just smash the crap out of it. But I bet what happens instead is SoulFox will go to the developers, hey guys, enjoyed the game. This is what I loved about it constructively. This is what I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
And give constructive criticism. That's exactly what I did, because what benefit do I get out of just trashing a VR game that is worth more than that?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a video release yesterday. We played Stride.net, which is Stride's new multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
And like we played a previous alpha build. So like the build that actually went out right after we played, which is funny. I love how that like worked out. Like we played, and then right afterwards, people were getting like the newer build. So like the developers even comment on our videos. They're like, "Hey, the game doesn't essentially look like that. Like the textures are not just white anymore." I'm like, "See," I was like we played on a very like rundown version.
Why did they do that?
Dude,
I didn't get that. I was like,
they were crunched on time too. Like that, like the second we played our stuff, they updated it to where it was more polished. I wish we did get to play and actually show you guys the more polished version right then, but I still had a good time with that game. It felt like, and I love Gorilla Tag. Straight up, I think it's a cool concept. I love how it's so physically active, and that game felt like the kind of same thing. Like you felt powerful jumping and running and like grabbing on walls. And there was one clip right at the start of my video where I am panicking, full-fledged panicking. You're hunting me down. All of my guard members are. Your friends are. And there were, I think, 3 different times I was running around. I jumped up. I climbed over things. And there's just a zombie right in my face. And I had like this internal scream of just like trying to panic and freak out and run away. And like that game, it has promise. It has potential. It can grow. It's still in its, I think they called it an open alpha right now or something like that. And so like it's still growing. It's not finished. But for where it's at, I feel like it's acceptable for people to play, to download, to have a good time with, and it's free. It's free.
Yeah, we made the right thing. Like basically, we played a very early version of the game, and we both had fun. So I was happy to make a video on that. There was no the actual core of the game was there. That's fine. It just didn't look as good as it could have, you know. But I still like when it's funny you should say like they were against the clock. Whose clock?
That's a good question. We need to ask Joyware. We need to ask them. Hey. Who put this time here? Like, who's making you do it? Can we talk to them? Are you okay? Are you safe? Like, who's making you put this out right now? Like,
are you safe? Oh, yeah, that's great.
Well, you know what, GT, I appreciate you being here, man. I'm definitely going to keep that in mind. But you know, our words carry weight. We need to be upfront, honest, and we have been. But I'm gonna continue to keep that in mind whenever it comes to reviewing things. And But I appreciate you being here, man. It's been great chatting with you. If y'all want to ever check out Gamertag's channel, man, he's got he is like the man for Quest 2. Like I anytime I ever need help, need to look for it, he's the first person I ever go and look to. He's great. He's a funny dude. You need to watch his streams. They're all lovely. All his information will be linked in the description. But once again, man, I appreciate you being here, and it's been great talking to you.
Thank you ever so much for having me on. I massively respect you too, man. I love you're one of not many people that I really do trust. So thank you ever so much for having me on. I love what you're doing, and you're going to smash it. I honestly think within a year you're going to be on 100K. I really do on subscribers, which is, I mean, that is a lifetime achievement in my mind. You know, that is that's a like a proper, what do they call it, a bucket list tick kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you ever set out to be a YouTuber, like if you get that play button, you know, and I think that's going to happen for you. And I love that you're a superstar in Rec Room. No, I love that. Like, as I said, I used to come in here years ago, and whatever. Anyway, but I love that the community knows you, and you're the sort of person they can look up to. So, excellent.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Well, right on, guys.
No
thank you for watching the
Soulcast.
Soulcast.
In the end.
Oh no, you're good, man. You're good. Oh man, but we appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for watching Soulcast. If you have any suggestions for the next guest we should bring on, anybody from the VR community, any people that are in Rec Room that you know about, let us know. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about these demos. All of them will be linked in the description. This is going to be a huge description. But thank you all for watching, and we will see y'all next time. Good deal.
Bye.